Hello everybody, Jam here, and welcome to my highlights video from the second week of Retro GT series hosted by DOR. Second week, round 3, just the one long endurance round this week as opposed to the two shorter sprint races. With that longer endurance-y format for the race, we get a slightly longer qualifying as well. Usually it's just the 3 flying laps, 4 in total obviously, and that's doubled up to 8 laps, as you can see me in qualifying on screen at the moment. Unfortunately, the extra laps didn't really help me. Like last week, exactly the same as last week, I set my best qualifying lap on the first lap of qualifying, or the first flying lap of qualifying. So the remaining 6 laps were completely pointless. Once again, it was just a case of I put in, I guess it's low pressure on the first lap. I just think, right, I'll just go and do a lap, it'll be okay, and as long as it's clean, it's an alright banker lap. And then as soon as I start pushing a bit more, I start making mistakes, and you know, that ends up dirtying laps or going slightly slower because I'm locked up and run deep or something. And yeah, it's a worrying trend because I'm not the best qualifier in the world, but I normally pull it out the bag in quali. Pace-wise, like I'm usually quite close to what I expect to get, and I sort of have done that the last couple of weeks, but I've done it on the first lap, which is still concerning. Surely I'd be able to get quicker. Anyway, I don't know. I'm starting to waffle already, but that was the story of my qualifying session once again. And as we come round to end the lap, we'll shortly be moving on to the start of the first race. Well, I'll say the first race. I've already said. It's only one race. So, there we go. Waffle again. Right, here we go then. Start of the race. 30 laps, 2 pit stops. And I'm starting in P12 in the top lobby. You can see another, was that one of my teammates behind me? I think it's Drive in with me this week. No Assassin in this particular race, but still good to see 2 Datsuns in the top lobby. They're already fighting behind us, you can see in the mirror there. My teammate side by side with RSR Flex in the background. But a nice sort of calm start for us. First time into the very tricky, tight hairpin, and predictably, it's all very congested. There's some sort of contact up ahead. Fortunately, I wasn't quite in line with everyone else, and I've just sort of snuck round the outside, completely unintentionally. They all sort of checked up, and yeah, just got myself a free position. Towards the end of lap 2 now then, and it's all, say, only a couple of corners later, so it's still quite congested. And I'll tell you what, this thing, out of the slow corners, the launch is fantastic. And you're seeing that right there, out of the chicane, where every other car might be struggling for traction. We're not. So we're up the inside of Matt now into turn 1, but you know, I don't like being on the inside there. I slightly chickened out of that a little bit, and Matt just swooped around the outside and holds on to P10. A couple of laps later though, end of lap 5, still behind Matt and his teammate Bobby just ahead. And I think, is this where I was planning to come into the pits here, and then I see both of those two come in, and I duck out, and it's a good job I did, because Bobby hit the end of the pit wall, dividing wall. That was easily done, but it's still a very big mistake to make, and not good for his race in the slightest. Lap 7 then, and there's a couple of cars off in the 130R. Or are there? No. The entire lobby crashed as of the end of lap 7. So we had to do a restart. It was because it was in the middle of the first pit window. We just sort of couldn't really work out exactly where everyone was meant to be. So we restarted from our original grid positions. The only exception was Bobby, who we just saw crash into the pit wall. He was the host, and he felt that because of that mistake, he deserved to go to the back. So fair enough if he wants. If he feels that, that's what he can do. I personally wouldn't have begrudged him back in his starting position because everyone else got a bit of a lifeline. But, you know, that's how it goes. Once again, relatively clean start from me. I had a little bit of a look at getting past the Mustang in front, but not able to this time. And I wasn't able to get him at the hairpin either. So where are we now? Lap 3 then. And what's going on here? Oh no, Matt's made a mistake into the chicane. So that'll be P10 for me without doing much work. And I'll tell you what, we can see my teammate right in the background as well, can't we? No, never mind. I'm getting confused because I thought there was a clip that was meant to be in there, but I've just realised that's later on. Don't worry about it, I'll tell you when we get there. Another car making a mistake in front of me though, was Dimes in the Mustang. Not Mustang. Mustang? Does that look like a Mustang to you? It doesn't look like a Mustang to me, so I don't know why I said Mustang. Yeah, Dimes in the Audi, getting it wrong through the Degners. Handed me a position, and I'm up into P6. And now it's my turn to go in the pits. And it's my turn to completely mess up going into the pits. Yeah, so I was really worried about not turning in enough and hitting the wall on the left. So I turned in too much. And I hit the wall on the right and bounced into the wall on the left. And you can see there, despite being under AI control, I was still overtaken by Platinum in the Audi. Because the car had so much damage, it couldn't even meet the pit limiter speeds. So I was losing. Not only did I lose all the time getting into the pits, once it was under AI control, I was still losing time until I stopped and repaired the damage. It was so slow, and now I am last considerably. Excuse me. Matt earlier we saw have a big mistake into the chicane, and he's still struggling with his car. I think at that particular moment I mentioned that it looked like he had some rear end damage, like a broken suspension or something, but for whatever reason at this point, or during this race, he just could. He was I don't know. It's either I waffle too much or I don't get any words out at all. Matt said he was struggling with the car. That's all I was trying to say. And yeah, at that particular point, he was really, really struggling. Something must have happened to Koenigsegg. He's been a feature in the last 2 episodes. I'm not quite sure what happened to him. He probably told me, and I've probably forgotten. But that's not what we're looking at the moment. That was me trying to go for a move on Platinum. And, well, didn't go off. didn't pull it off, did I? Went for an inside gap that wasn't really there. And, yeah, ended up sending Platinum a little bit wide. So, made sure he's still got held on to positions. I can't be taking positions like that. Another attempt at going past him, though, into the chicane. Going for a bit of a cutback line, and he defends it very well. I give him a bit of a nudge on the way out. But, yeah, that wasn't... It was a little bit of a half-assed move. If you drop it into a cutback at that point, it's... You really need to be forcing the issue round the outside. I think this is one lap later, though, into this similar sort of complex. A lot further alongside, going into the 130R this time, though. And I don't have to worry about using the run towards the chicane to get alongside, because I'm already there and there's quite a bit of contact between us. And I don't manage to get past on this occasion either. I'm going to stay on board, though, because the straight line speed of that Audi really isn't very good. And both of us with a kind of equally hindered exit from the chicane. It's going to be all about the straight line speed down in towards turn 1, and I can get a slight overlap on the outside. Almost, well, I do run a little bit wide. And then I run really wide on the next bit. Yeah, another attempt at an overtake, and another failed attempt at an overtake. So what's this, lap 17? I think this is another one lap. Once again, I was going to send it towards the inside. Platinum covered it, and I just ran into the back of him. So, once again, just making sure he keeps his position for now. I really want that position, obviously, because I feel like I should be a lot further up the road because of my mistake. If it wasn't for that, I could have been. But, I mean, if you look at the map, there's no one else I'm going to be able to catch in this race. The gaps are too big, so it's just me v Platinum for P14, 13 at this point. And that P13 would finally go to me, at least for the time being, with what I consider to be quite a nice move there, actually. Just, tucking up the inside on the exit of the second corner. I don't know if that's really 1 or 2 corners, actually. But yeah, considering how many times we've made contact, I was really, really happy with that nice move. It's just a shame it took so many failed attempts to get there. And oh, look at that! There's a very broken car. And that's a very ominous sign. Me and Platinum are still racing. The communications in the lobby were broken. You see 2 more stricken cars there. Now that's 3, and that was all on the same lap. They were in a big pile-up, and 3 stricken cars. The ruling is, that happens, there should be a safety car. But the lobby host, as mentioned, it was Bobby at the time, communication wasn't really... I think he'd lagged out the party or something. So it wasn't easy to call the safety car because no one really knew what to do. Eventually, we managed to call it, but I was still having to race absolutely flat out the entire time because I didn't know if Platinum knew, because I don't think he was in the party either. But anyway, we eventually caught up to the pack. And oh look, there's Bobby. and he managed to get back into the party, and we eventually sorted it out. But as you can see, it was like that was 3 laps ago we saw that. I think it was lap 18 that it should have been called. I mean, that's saying it's now restarting on lap 21, so we've basically got a 3-lap sprint to the end of the race. And well, that's yeah. So first lap of the restart, heading into the very congested area again. I'm hard on the brakes, but I've run into the back of Bobby, and then I've got contact from behind, and then more in front. And there's Platinum sneaking up the inside. I've felt really bad about knocking Bobby wide. I didn't. Oh well, I think it was mostly my fault. I think I hit him before I got any contact from behind. But I'd spent so long behind Platinum already, I didn't want to let him get any sort of gap on me this time. Went straight off on the chase, and I just straight back past him. I wasn't taking any prisoners that time, just sent one up into Spoon. And oh crikey, we're still going to be sub. Oh no, actually we cleared him a lot earlier than I thought we were. But we're going to stay on board as we go through 130R, using the inside curb nicely, not touching that outside curb, which can kill you. But they're off 3-4 wide in the background, and I had a call that there was a car coming, and someone completely missed their braking point. And quite a lot of contact between. Oh, and there's people off into the gravel on the exit of the chicane as well. Yeah, that was. I'm not quite sure what happened there. Obviously, I couldn't quite see from from my point of view, but it was a scary moment when someone just shouted, "Jam car!" And I'm like, "Oh!" There's a car in my door as I turn into the chicane. So the next couple of laps were spent chasing down Flex. I got quite close, but that run wide through 130R kind of ruined any proper momentum I had. My main chance would have been on the exit of the chicane. As mentioned, this car's really good on the exit of the slow corners. So I wasn't able to get past him, but I managed to come across the line in P8 in the end, which is a pretty good result. So if it wasn't for the big mistake I made into the pits, I'd say I was around dimes at the point. I was just ahead. So, you know, it could have been a really good result. It was still a good result. I was very fortunate with the late safety car and the other crashes, but yeah, you know, that's racing. It swings and roundabouts, goes your way sometimes and not the others. So after all that, there are the driver standings on your screen. Currently in P7 overall. In that classic battle with Flex and Koenigsegg. Flex is currently winning it, so we need to do something about that next time. Teams have been properly updated this time. We are sitting in P4 after the first 2 rounds. Anyway, that's the end of the video. So thank you very much for watching. And until the next time, goodbye.